What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. It has been a couple months since my last video, and that is because my fiance and I have finally found our new house. So with that being said, that means we're finally able to start converting our house into a smart home. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how I chose to start this project. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you the products that I chose, why I chose them, the full unboxing process, installation process, and basically give you a better idea of what it all takes to convert this place into a smart home. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started with my Wi-Fi system and then go from there.
One thing that was an absolute must for starting off our smart home was having fast, consistent internet. Outside of upgrading to fiber internet, I also added the Deco X20 Mesh Wi-Fi 6 system. This was extremely important as we're moving from a small one-floor condo to a house that has 3 floors. This mesh system says that it can cover up to 5,800 square feet, which is roughly twice of what we were actually needing. Another reason we added this mesh system is because it's able to connect and handle over 150 devices, which is what I need in order to deal with all the devices I'll end up adding throughout the house. So in this box, you're going to get 3 devices with their power cords, 1 Ethernet cable to connect to the modem, and then some paperwork on how to get started. Depending on where I place the mesh system devices, I can even connect other devices directly to them via their Ethernet ports. Installation was really easy by using the setup guide that's found on the Deco app. Essentially, you just plug the device into your modem, power it on, and then use the app to set it all up. You might also notice the gaming router I have here. I will be covering that in a future video. Once I got the main device set up, I installed the second device upstairs in my new office. And then the third device went down in the basement. Even though it's currently unfinished, I still wanted to ensure that there was a strong signal down there for the occasional times that we do use the area.
Okay, so for my security system, I went with Ring. I'm going to be installing the Video Doorbell 3 along with 3 security cameras. These are all going to be battery operated, so what I'm going to be testing for over the next few months is how long these batteries last. The main reason why I went with battery for Ring is because my front door does not have any wiring and didn't even have a doorbell, so this is actually supposed to be an easier installation. Another reason I went with Ring is because it's compatible with a lot more devices, including my refrigerator, and seems to be pretty easy to use, but who knows. All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and get into it and let's unbox these and see what comes inside.
When it comes to security cameras for our new home, I was between Ring and Nest. The 2 main reasons I decided to go with Ring was because more of my existing devices are more compatible with Alexa than they are with Google Home. And the other main factor was pricing. Not only was I able to get the Ring devices for a lower price, but they also have a lower monthly fee for what I wanted.
Follow the instructions in the Ring app to continue. Stick-up cam is connected to the Ring app. Stick-up cam is connecting to the internet. Just a moment. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Installation was really easy for these since they're battery powered instead of hardwired. Because I'm mounting these to the outside of my house, I just needed to flip the stand from the bottom of the cameras to the back and mount it to the wall. After almost 2 months of testing, I'll say that the battery life on these devices are actually extremely impressive. But after thinking about it and also forgetting to record it, I really didn't want to have to deal with changing the batteries for the harder to reach cameras in the middle of winter. So I ended up adding a couple of solar panels, as they're not too far off the cost of buying spare batteries. Even though I got these for security purposes, I find that I use them more to get notified when any packages arrive, to check to see what's going on outside if I hear anything, or to simply keep an eye out on Dexter when he's running around outside. The Ring doorbell was basically the exact same installation process. I just needed to charge the battery, set up the device using Ring's app, and then mount the device by our front door. My one suggestion here is to check the camera out before deciding where to mount it. I installed ours a tad low, so if anyone were to ring the doorbell and stand too close, it can be difficult to see who it is in the live camera view. Our Ring doorbell is connected to our Samsung Family Hub smart fridge, which we were fortunate enough to get included with the house. But obviously it's not 100% necessary to start a smart house. Outside of using this as our primary Alexa device, there's a few other practical ways we use this fridge. Our schedules are completely different, so we use this as a way of knowing when Krupa is working and when we have planned events. There are cameras inside the fridge, which I can use to see what's inside without actually opening the door, and it also attempts to label what is in the fridge. If it worked perfectly, it's actually an awesome feature, as you can pull recipes up on the screen based on what's actually in the fridge, but since it's not perfect, we can manually enter everything. Full transparency, we're too lazy to do that. Another nice thing is that I can connect to the fridge using the SmartThings app to see what's inside, just in case I'm at the store and don't know if we already have something. Outside of the fridge, I've started to add Alexa devices to our home. I've been placing them throughout the house, but as we've started to settle in more and more, I'm moving them around based on where I typically have the most use for them.
Your Echo is ready.
Since we already had several Google devices, we've been using them just as well, and haven't really had any issues with mixing the two so far. One area I wanted to expand on automating in the future was our house's lights. For me, it came down to two options, either installing a smart switch or going with smart bulbs. The majority of the areas of my house had multiple lights attached to each switch, so that's why I decided to start off by installing a smart switch. The installation process begins by first cutting the power to the switch. Best way to do that is by turning the light on, and when you cut the power, just check to ensure the light is off. Once you do that, you'll take the original switch out and double check to ensure there's no power going to it. This was the first time that I've done this, and what I've learned is that installing one is much more difficult when you realize that the lights are controlled by two switches. So in this case, I had to figure out how to handle the wires, as the instructions were not matching what I was seeing. The other issue with doing this was that the other switch needed to be flipped off at all times in order for this to work. Once I brought the original light switch out, I turned the power back on in order to determine which one was the line wire versus which one was the load wire. I then flipped the power back off and started disassembling everything in order to reassemble it to the new smart switch. If this would have been a standard light switch, the instructions were fairly straightforward, but because these lights are controlled by multiple switches, it wasn't as easy for me. If you have any suggestions on how you handle these scenarios, let me know down in the comments. After you install all the wiring correctly, you can turn the power on to see if there's a small light showing. Just avoid touching the wires if you do this. If all is good, just once again cut the power, screw the new switch in, and add the plate. Once I was done with installation, all I had to do was set up the switch using the app. On a side note, another random perk of this switch is that it has an integrated light so that I can see it easily in the dark. And the final thing I did was connect it to my smart home devices so that I can control them using Alexa or Google Home. I don't know about you, but I'm someone that when I leave my house, I randomly fear that I left the garage door open. Because of this, I decided to get the MyQ Smart Garage Control System. This is actually one of the devices I highly recommend if you have a garage, as it's super easy to install and set up, and I think I got mine for only $25 on Amazon. The way the installation works is you attach the sensor to the garage door using the adhesive strips provided to you in the box. Next, you'll pair up the hub device to your garage opener using the instructions in the app, and then you'll want to find a place to mount and plug the device in. Using the MyQ app, I'm able to open and close the garage door via my phone, and I'm also able to give guest access to our garage door whenever it's needed. I have this set up with Ring to send me alerts when the door is opened and closed, and it integrates with Amazon, giving me the ability to choose key delivery if I ever have packages I'd rather have dropped off inside my garage rather than left outside on our front porch. Alright, so that about wraps up this video on how I'm initially starting off our new smart home. You'll be able to find links to the products I used in this video in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this type of content. I have several other videos in the works right now that I'm excited to post here in the next few months. Thanks again for all the love and support, and I'll see y'all next time.